Hi everyone, it's Eve again. If you're watching this, you probably know who I am. Today I invited Florian Matosek to join me in the conversation. Florian, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for having me. I'm Florian. I'm the product group director for video analytics at Genetec. So I'm responsible for the video analytics products that we have.
And the reason why we decided to have this call is because I was selling analytics for many years till now. And I also have this contradicting question. From one point of view, I want to deliver as much valuable analytics to my customers as possible. And there are so many new video analytics. It can be fight detector analytics. It can be smoke detector analytics. It can be an example of using analytics for safety purposes. But on the other hand, there are so many components to the cost, and they need to be installed on every camera that we normally lose this return on investment into this huge investment. So my first question to you, Florian, will be, what are the components of the cost on adding new analytics in the project?
Right, a very good question, because there are a lot of costs involved that you have to consider in order to come up with a ROI for your total project. So at the one hand, there are the obvious costs, the license cost, maybe you have additional costs in your video management system that you can need to consider. Then if you have analytics that run on a server, of course, you have to consider the server cost. So server hardware is a big thing. So you need to make sure you know what kind of servers you need and how much they cost. But usually it stops there when you consider costs, but there are many more. Because it's not only the cost for the server, actually it's also rack space. You have to have space in your rack in order to have the new servers. And not only that, nowadays companies, especially in the IT space, also consider power consumption of the servers. So those are recurring costs that you have to do power consumption. And finally, and that's usually the biggest cost factor for analytics, it's the cost of deploying video analytics and configuring them. That's really the biggest part. It's really the man hours you have to put in order to configure a video analytics system.
Yeah, that's exactly that. So if everything is so said, what are there actually video analytics which make sense? Are there any?
Well, actually, there are a bunch of them, but it's important to really look at your business case in order to figure out if these analytics make sense for you. One of them that really makes a lot of sense, and to be honest, those are over 50% of our sales in our own product portfolio, and that's perimeter protection. Perimeter protection really is a video analytic that triggers an alarm when somebody is detected to break in, like climb over a wall, enter an area, and so on. And the reason why video analytics is really a great technology for this application is because it has a clear use case. It's clearly a security issue. You want to detect intruders. And also it has a great return of investment because intrusion detection technology is not cheap either way. So you have microwave, you have radar, you have laser. All of these technologies require additional hardware that you install, but video analytics can leverage your existing cameras. So perimeter protection is a great use case that really has a clear return of investment. The second thing I would highlight is you want to look at video analytics that don't require to analyze the stream all the time. And a great example for that is tampering detection of your cameras. So if you have a system that automatically checks the quality of your cameras, like if they're turned, if they're covered, if somebody messed with your cameras, they don't have to check all the time. You can say, let's check every minute or every 10 minutes or even every 24 hours. And that means that you need a very low hardware footprint, very low server resources that are required. Well, on the other hand, you have a great return of investment because this really is a maintenance video analytic that helps you maintain your cameras. So tampering detection is another great example for a video analytic that really makes sense in the real world.
Oh, can I actually jump here? Because the example with a camera integrity monitor, which I give to my customers, it's like, let's assume that you have one server, which is just standing there for even video management purposes for the archiving, and that has sort of limited amount of computing power. So for the sake of calculation, let's take 1,000 cameras. Each set of cameras which we can process, and let's say we can process 50 cameras with this standalone server, will take us 5 seconds. So that would mean that 1,000 cameras will take us, what, 20 cycles by 5 seconds, so it's 100 seconds cycle, and you have it with pretty much no additional equipment. I think it's a great example of return on investment. Thank you.
Absolutely, and even you can even set it to only check once an hour, so you can even analyze more cameras, and once an hour is really good enough for you to know if your cameras are okay or not. Absolutely.
We're talking about occupancy as well, right?
Right, yes. In one of your videos, you were talking about occupancy management, and I have to say this is really another very good example with a clear return of investment, because you can leverage your cameras that you have to count people, how many people are going in and out. And with this information, you can measure the occupancy. So how many people are in your store right now? How many people are allowed to be in there? You can use it for COVID-19 measures, but even beyond that, for business intelligence, it's very valuable. And the beauty of it is you only have to install the analytics on your entrance cameras, not on all of your cameras, and you get information about your whole facilities with minimum server requirements and a great return of investment.
Yeah. Well, that's it. That's another good point, that it goes beyond the applications which you were thinking about. It can be the COVID-19 situation, but in the end of the day, we see the statistics when the customer behavior is measured. The stores are normally statistically higher in their revenues. So it's last research I found was around 3% practically more revenue. So it's a good number to take into consideration. But I think I want to add another point, that whatever analytics you bring into whatever technology, analytics, not analytics, you bring into your system, you need to have the clear process and internal commitment to actually go with it. You need to have it auditable, it needs to have it measurable, and practically you need to use what you have, and that needs to be before choice of technology.
Yes. So what I can recommend everybody is, don't just buy analytics because it's cool and it's a hype word and so on. You don't want to buy technology just for the sake of it. You want to buy it because it solves one particular problem that you have. And when you buy it, you need to make sure you have all the processes in your enterprise, so somebody can actually use it. Somebody has to maintain it, but also somebody has to use the information, has to react when perimeter protection is triggering, has to analyze the occupancy data. So you need to be full cycle. It doesn't help if you just buy technology and leave it there. But if you have the full cycle, then it is a great tool for you to drive business value and get the return of investment that you want.
Yeah, exactly. That's that's it from us for today. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Florian, for joining me. And don't forget to like the video.